What's good, John? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Sword Art Online, War of the Underworld. Holy fuck! That art and animation, though. This legit puts the Broly movie to fucking shame. Legit, when man unleashed his fucking Bankai release recollection, whatever the fuck, whichever one's Bankai, bruh. That was fucking insane. And the facial expression in this episode, like the animation there was great, but the animation overall was great. Like I gotta give props to the guys that make to the animators. Like I want to shake all of the animators' hands, whether they were like the primary or the I forget what they're called, the primary animators and the guys, the in-between animators, like, I want to shake their fucking hand. All of them, I want to shake their fucking hand. Be like, y'all out there, like, the animation here was just, this is movie quality shit right here, ladies. They're like, this is legit movie quality. Like, nutty. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. So of course it starts off with, the destruct with the Death Star unleashing havoc. Great stuff. And then we get to go from the leader of the Dark Mages, and the woman that they're recasting, like that because there was a drought of the dark magic, of the dark magic whatever in this area by unknown origins, we couldn't unleash our attack, and thereby our forces were destroyed. We lost 90% of the demi-humans, 70% of the orcs, and over 30% of the dark mages. If I remember correctly, those were the numbers of the guys that were eliminated. So pretty sizable now got destroyed by the Death Star. So, and she's like, and the leader's like, what do you mean by unknown origins? That attack sucked up all the energy. But she's like, but who could have done this? I can't even. Who is responsible for this attack? Also, by the way, guys, once again, no Asuna. Every time I keep seeing Best Girl also in the OP, I'm just like, where is she? Why haven't I seen her? We are what? What are we now? 8 episodes in? 8 episodes? 6 episodes? How many episodes are we in? 8 episodes in, and we still have no sign of Best Girl. Absolutely sickening, man. Absolutely sickening. So anyway, Alice lands, and then Fantio shows up, telling you, like, oh, good job, Alice. But then Alice just kind of falls off her dragon, and, Fantio manages to catch her, telling you did good, the enemy has retreated, we done good. We're gonna also fall back. And she's like, Alice is like, no, it's not over yet. We have to drain this area of all of its sacred art, so that the enemy can't use it. After all, the Dark Knights still remain untouched. And so this time, by this point, she gets up, and and that's when she says that the Dark Knights are, they're still up. So Fantio's like, okay. So then she gets over there, tells everyone that can still walk to attend to the wounded, and has all her medics. Has all her medics, or whatever you call them in these I forget what they're healers, medics, whatever you want to call them. He had them attend to the wounded and drain this area of all its sacred art, so the enemy can't reuse it. She also attends to her dragon. Amiyori tells him, like, go back to your bed and eat your fill. Yeah, that dragon deserves to get to enjoy a feast. Speaking of feasts, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Had a good Thanksgiving weekend. You guys, hopefully, y'all ate your fill and had a good Thanksgiving. I know my Thanksgiving was pretty good. And of course, I had my birthday, which yesterday, and I streamed Soccer Wars for y'all, which was good, which was a fun time. Anyway, back to the episode. So after Amiyori leaves, Fantio asks her if she can leave her here while she has to go and attend to some other stuff. She says okay, and then Eldarine comes in there. Dude's covered in blood. It's not his. And Alice is like, oh my god, are you okay? Do you have any internal injuries or anything? Did you suffer any major wounds or major injuries? Assures her that nothing happened, nothing major happened with me. He did not sustain any major injuries, but that I should have perished in battle. The goblins got right past me, and they were, and the king, and I think they said like the chief of the goblins was killed by like Sir Renly or something. How embarrassing is that, you know? And the man just keeps going on and on and on and on of him just shitting on himself. And I gotta also talk about the editing real quick. The editing here looked a little weird. So the dude's shitting all over himself about what happened with the goblins and, you know, and all that other stuff. But then it just randomly just fades to black right here. But then when it cuts back, it's literally the exact same scene, just from a different angle. So I don't know why there was a fade. Now, granted, now they do this fade a couple extra times in the episode, but this one it looked off. The other ones it looked fine. Here it just looked off. Now I'm not sure this is where the commercial was when this episode aired in Japan. That very easily could have been the reason why it looked so weird. But it just looked off. It just really looked off. I don't know if anyone else felt like that, but that's what what I felt like. The editing here, at least in this part, the editing in the episode was fine, but here it was off, man. I didn't like that. That cut looked hella necessary. At least to me, anyway. So anyway, so the dude's talking, he also goes on about, you know, how he was like, persuaded her love or something like that. I think the man also low-key had a crush on her, and he was hoping that he might be able to have a little, like, you know, maybe take this mentor-protege relationship to the next level and make Alice his girlfriend. But, you know, if Alice is dating anyone, it's gonna be Yujo. That is if the man even comes back to life. I still think we might see Yujo get resurrected. I still think that might happen. Now, if Yujo stays dead, then hey, man, then cool. But I don't know. I think Yujo's gonna come back. He's too good of a character for you to permanently kill him. That's just me. I could be wrong. Reki might actually be like, no one, I killed him, and he's gonna stay dead. That very easily could be the way Reki going. And hey, man, you know, I gotta give Reki his props if he goes that route. If he goes that route. It's because it's very easily for you to kill a character that gets popular and then bring them back because of their popularity. I mean, but then when they don't do like what happened with the Attack on Titan manga, keeping Kenny dead, or like having Kenny actually die and not try to redeem him, turn into a good guy or anything, that takes balls. That takes balls. So anyway, Kirito comes, not Kirito. So anyway, so then while he's talking, after we get to that little weird edit there, an orb comes in with like half his body burnt off. Well, not burnt off, but it's burnt. So the dude legit survived the Death Star attack. How this man is still standing and not dead is an anomaly to me. Alicia mentions your health must be damn near zero. Why do you come at us unarmed? And he says that he is going to capture her. That she is the one. That he knows that she was the one that unleashed that attack, and that the only one that looks. And she also mentions her looks and her power. That she is the Light Priestess. And while this dude's going on about the Light Priestess, Elderly comes in and be like, how dare you speak such drivel! And charges towards him, but Alice stops him, holding back his arm. So then Alice lets him continue, and he goes on about how he's going to capture her, send her to the Emperor, which of course is Gabriel, and of course get her captured, and he also mentions that whoever captures the Light Priestess will get a wish, and his wish is going to be return the orcs to the Greenland. Let them herd horses, hunt birds, and just live the good life. That's their plan anyway. And so that he's gonna get this wish once he brings her in, and that's what he's gonna do. Alice asks her like, "Why don't you resent me? I'm the one that slaughtered your people just like 2 minutes earlier with the Death Star. You know, with the tent that puts the Death Star to shame." So after that. So he's like, you know, the strong carry a burden that is as strong as they are. As chief, I too hold the burden of being chief. And that's why I'll bring you in. So then the dude charges at her. We see some blood kind of spew out from his leg. So the man probably got like a broken leg or something. But Alice, of course, one-shots this guy and blood spews everywhere. Which I gotta give A1 Pictures props. Like, there has been very little censorship in this episode. There's the amount of blood we've gotten this season has been pretty crazy. I don't know what the time slot is for SAO in Japan, but I gotta say, like, you know, there's a lot more blood in here than I was expecting, man. Like, there's a shit ton of blood. So anyway, after that is all said and done, we head over back to Gabriel. So we see him and Gabriel. So he's like, so let me get this straight. The reason your strategy failed and we lost like 1,000 dark mages was because the enemy absorbed and depleted the spiritual dark power before us. Is that right? Queen of the leader of the dark mages? And so she's like, hi, keep on. The woman's scared shitless at this point. One thing I must praise is the art and animation. The art right here, like her facial expression, just looks amazing. Here, and there's another part as well. And she also says that, I wasn't informed that the enemy still had, like, even though they still have a mage of that caliber. And also we get a nice, beautiful looking ass shot, which I'll probably put in the thumbnail. And so he's like, is there any way for us to, bring back the energy and, get it back up? And he says, no, not really. Not in these conditions. We'll need ample amount of rich land and sunlight. Both are absent from the battlefield. And he's like, oh, I see. But you guys, well, from what I see, there's no grass or trees in this land, and the sun has already seemed to set. What the hell are you going to use as a power source to cast this large-scale spell? And they were going to end up using the corpse, the blood spilled up from both demi-humans and the enemy soldiers, and their expired lives to, of course, feel the dark, to be the fuel for the dark power, and have with the dark power to fill up the air, and to use that as fuel. And so this woman's like on her hands and knees, like, oh, please forgive me, sir. And he says, blood and life, huh? So he thinks about it. And like I mentioned before, the animation here looks great, and the direction looks great as well. He says DIL would 3,000 suffice. And she looks over at these pig creatures, who I forget what they're called. I think the mages. I think they're called magus. Magus, I think. I'm not sure. I don't really remember their name completely. But then it takes her a second. But then she realizes what he means, and the face on this one, like, she looks like she's looking kind of turned on. But I mean, just look at her face. She's like, oh, like, like this. Look, I think she's even blushing a little bit too. I'm not sure. I could just be seeing shit. Her skin is kind of reddish, and she says, "That will be enough, Your Majesty." So then we head over back. So then from there we head over to Alice. Alice tells Uncle about what went down, about the dark. About what went down with the guy, with the orc or whatever his name was, about that she's the light priestess, and she decides that she's going to go over there and go into, and pretty much what she plans to do is split up. And if she is a dark land priest, she's going to go to the end of the dark territory. Probably at that point with her, get a little tongue-tied here. But if Gabriel is looking for her, then she'll probably with her going on that direction, some of the forces will go over there with her, and they can split them up, and that so that their forces split up, so that they have a better chance, so that Uncle and Fantio and all those guys have a better chance to defeat these guys. That's her plan. And she also wants to go and get 2 birds with 1 stone and go to the I forget what the location's called, but that area where what's his name tells Kirito to go and take Alice. It's also at the end of the Dark Turtle. I forget its name, so apologies on that. I legit can't remember his name. But anyway, so she wants to do 2 birds with 1 stone with that kind of thing. But Uncle brings up a different plan about how they're probably not going to go out. They're not going to send a huge force behind you if it's just you being the sole, decoy. So what he says, you're going to take a third of the unit. They're going to take a third of the soldiers to take them out, and that way they'll probably go after you a lot quicker, or a lot more than will come after you when there's that many. And that Uncle also wants to be part of the raid team. So then from there we head over back to with the dark mage, leader. She's talking with the pig guys. I don't think we've gotten their names yet. I might be wrong on that, but so she goes over to the pig guys and she tells the chief of these guys, like, okay, I'm gonna need 3,000 sacrifices stat. And he's like, we were here to fight, not to pay for your failures. I'm trying to do pig sounds, but I'm not really doing that well. But anyway, and so he doesn't want to do it for obvious reasons. I mean, you don't want to sacrifice 3,000 of your people to some bitch, But she tells her that this is an order directly from the Emperor himself. And then Lenja, I think her name was, the female here. She tells her, like, I'm pretty sure she's probably married to the chief. They're their boyfriend, girlfriend. That's his wife. We don't know the exact tendency really, but we know that there's definitely something there. There's some fun. There's some roughhousing in the mud bath with these two. Anyway, so she says, don't worry. I'm a firm believer that both humans and orcs will go over to heaven. So hopefully we'll meet each other there. Yada yada yada. Let's go with it. I'm good. I'm good to sacrifice myself for this. So Then we head up. So then we see them all. First, we see Alice and everyone kind of getting ready to suit up, and they walk out. Or they drive off on their dragons along with the guys, with the soldiers come following them afterwards, over to where they're going to be heading. We also see Fantio open her mouth when she looks at Uncle. And so I'm not sure if she was about to try and maybe confess to the guy, because we know there's probably something going on with her and and Uncle that she might have a thing for him. But she ends up closing her mouth, telling everyone to return to their positions. So after that, we then head over back to the ritual. They're performing the ritual, and you got 3,000 guys, set up in this little circle area, and and of course you got all the mages be like, system call, generate, blah 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 blah, change human, change human health unit to area, whatever the hell it was called. They use it so where they pretty much steal their health and put it into them. That's the spell. So then we see a bunch of them fall down. Some of them actually just blow up with blood spewing everywhere. So that was entertaining to watch. And of course you see the guy, cheers in his eyes when he sees his girlfriend or wife or maybe his side bitch, I don't know. Maybe his booty call, whoever this chick is. So she ends up falling, and then the dude starts crying, and he's like, damn humans, damn you humans. And for some reason he cuts his cheek with his nail. Don't really know what that's supposed to signify, but whatever. So then we return back to Uncle. They're riding the dragons over to that area, and then they start to hear, chanting. They're here wait. Alice is wait, that song kind of sounds like, people are performing a spell. Uncle then thinks about saying, he's like, oh, those bastards. It's like, no, they can't be. We took care of everything in magic. And then he hits him. He's like, those bastards, what the hell are they doing? So then they get over there, and you see this giant circle. And this is when the episode just gets fucking crazy. The art animation here was epic. The 11-4. This puts the fucking Broly movie to shame. But you see this giant circle. These are these worms that are circling there. If y'all remember, how many of y'all remember that wave of Bionicle? Yes, we talk about we're bringing up Bionicles right now. How many of y'all remember that wave of Bionicles where they were based off the sea, and instead of those little balls that they would flow up with the Incas, I think they were called, or the previous set, which was used in Bionicle Heroes during the video game. I think this was the wave right after that, when they were all based off sea and their sea creature and everything. They had these little worm things that was meant for you to shoot off from their little blaster things, and they look very much similar to that. I heard them say worm shape amongst the chants, so that's what they kind of look like. They have these mouths. They look like leeches, I guess is a better phrase. They look like leeches. But anyway, we see them circling around this thing, and they're about to ready to fire over. And then they see Alice and all those guys coming in. And she's telling Dark Mage Queen is like, no, not yet, not yet. And then D says fire, and the thing just fires off right towards them. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, when we saw the death worm thing come together, D gets very turned on by this. She's like, oh yes, no, this cannot be destroyed by mere sword armor. And then she legit starts touching her boobs. And when I say touch, I mean she's rubbing them with her head. She's emphasizing her assets. I'm surprised we didn't see her hand go down to her crotch or nothing, because the woman looked hella turned on, like she was about to start masturbating right then and there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm dead serious when I say that. So then back to the episode. So we see the thing come toward them. Uncle says, put them in this direction. He goes upwards, and then while it follows him, another one kind of fires off below it, and that one keeps making a beeline towards the front, which is where which we see in one of the carriages is where Tisei, Kirito, and Ronnie are in. We also see a shot of Ronnie kind of with her, or not. I'm not. Tisei's the redhead, right? I believe Tisei's the redhead. I might be wrong there. I keep getting their names switched. But Tisei is looking out the window, seeing what's going on. Wait. So then once Alice sees that there's a second one going down, she goes over there. Uncle says, little one, no, it's not going to work. So she comes charging toward. Then Eldarine, which, by the way, if y'all were not fans of Eldarine before this episode, the man became a fan favorite right after this episode. So the dude comes charging towards her. He goes up into the air. He says, if you claim that you are the king of serpents, then defeat this horde of mere snakes. Bankai! mean, yes, I know it's Ridley's recollection, but let's be honest, this is so obviously meant to be Bankai. So he unleashes his Bankai. Then the man says, then we see a swarm of snakes just come charging into it, and then we see them kind of duking it out for a bit, while at the same time they're moving in like 15 different directions, left, right, cross, six, left, up, down, left, right, B, A, start. You know, it's fucking crazy, ladies and gentlemen. They're going all over the goddamn like I mentioned before. This puts the fucking Broly movie to shame. And the movie now I mentioned, they looks supposed to fucking but yo, this, forget about it. They won. they got Toei beat with this. You know, so they're going all over the place. The serpent starts to go over the snake, and then we just see like this like big amount of energy coming right over the snakes, and it just comes right towards Eldery. Eldery's health starts to go down significantly. Once the man hits 0, we think it's dead. The man is finished. It's time for L. Pack up your bags. Time to go. Time for you to meet your maker. You know it's done. But then my man Yujo is like, oh no, fam, you are not done here. Alice needs your help. So he gives him a little bit of assistance, pushes him up. The man grabs on top of that legion, whatever the hell it's called, and he's like, I am not dead. Then his health legit starts to go in the negatives. Yes, his health gets into the negatives, ladies and gentlemen. I am not bullshitting you. It's legit in the negatives. We just see going up and up and up and up, or down, whichever one you prefer. So then it's going on while he's just screaming at the top of his lungs. He's like, ah! Well, the thing just goes up and up and up and up. The dragon keeps going high and high and high. He finally lets go, and then we see this big ass explosion of her. Then Alice is like, oh shit. So she comes right over there. I must give mad props to Alice's Japanese voice actor. I came with rewatching the English show when it airs on Toonami. It's gonna be lit. So she coming out there chanting, I did it! Coming right after that, she manages to grab her. Then the man to get back on land. So of course she gets back on land. Once she's back there, of course she get the usual anime like, no, please don't die. Open your eyes. Come on, I'll do this for you and all this other shit. So that was the reason Alice. I was a fool for thinking I could have you all to myself. It's all some bullshit, but I didn't remember. I couldn't remember. But anyway, so after that, so she eventually back. So the man finally back to people. Alice, of course, because this is anime. She's fucking pissed. She want revenge on these fuckers. So she comes out there, grabs his little whip, takes his dragon too after his dragon does some howling for his fallen comrade. She comes charging right towards these guys. After she's done charging, she then starts to burn it down. So then she just has her and the other dragon just fire down, and she starts burning everyone, burning everyone to a crisp. It fucking, looked fucking deathly, man. It looked amazing. So then, while she's going at that, we see the D going out there, be like, no, I refuse to die in a place like this. So then she just drives her hands into two of her comrades. She's like, Lady Thief, why are you doing this? And then she says, system call before we get a transition with Zenpon Sakura, which you also see her unleash Zenpon Sakura as well, which is also hot. So then she's up in the air and announces to her that I am Integrity Knight, Alice Synthesis 30. I am the priestess of light. Come for me. And then we see Gabriel being like, Alice. He smiles. Alicia. And that is where the episode ends, ladies and gentlemen. So, I hope y'all could understand what the hell I just said there. It was talking really fast, But, yeah, man. This episode was awesome. Now, let's talk about what he said, Alicia. Now, from what we can remember from the last episode we saw, or excuse me, a couple episodes back when we got Gabriel's backstory, we both know that, now, of course, there's the obvious correlation between, we know he killed, Alicia, just to see her soul and all that other stuff. Now, as we remember, as we can tell, they were both blondes, both Alicia and Alice. And of course, their names sound similar. Alicia, Alice. She was also reading Alice in the Wonderland, or one of the books in the Wonderland series in that episode. Now, I have a bit of a theory for you. What if Alice is based off of Alicia? Now, we could tell from the episode that Gabriel is from a pretty, I would say, rich family. Maybe high middle class, judging from where they lived. And, in fact, they had a forest in there. And judging from their just overall house. You could tell that these guys definitely had a high income. Maybe not top 1% wealthy, but definitely maybe high middle class. Damn near being able to live in a mansion kind of thing. In the middle of nowhere, secluded. Of course, Alicia got there, and of course with money comes power, and of course that means you can do a lot of things with that money. What if something happened between, because we don't know exactly, because we know Alice is something completely different, and that's like the whole thing that this whole Underworld program is just nowadays has been built around. It's figuring out about Alice. What if Alice, her Flucklight, or something along those lines, is based off of Alicia, and that's why Gabriel wants her so much. And he's like, and the whole so be so sweet out there. What if indeed Alice is based off Alicia, or that they have some sort of correlation? Maybe like Alicia, maybe Alice's Flucklight is Alicia's. Or there's some correlation. Maybe they like, maybe they coded. Maybe they took like a copy of her intelligence or something, and then they put it in a machine, and that's how we got Alice. I definitely think there's definitely something going on between Alicia and Alice, but that's just my personal opinion. Tell me down below what y'all think. Do you think I'm on the right track? Do you think I'm just crazy? Tell me all that, because I want to know what y'all thought about this. Because I definitely think there's definitely something going on between Alicia and Alice. There's got to be some connection between those two, other than they're both blondes. And their names sound similar. So, yeah. Overall, I'm into healing. So this episode was fucking awesome. I love this episode. It was great stuff. Great art animation, as I mentioned before. Direction was great. I mentioned before, the art was great. The animation was superb. Huge props to both the key animators as well as the in-between animators. I want to shake all of their hands after that animation we got there. It looked fucking epic. But yeah, so I'm into here. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you like, if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. Also, if I didn't say it already, final verdict, 10 out of 10.